We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellisioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellisio Foods.
Well, good morning, everyone. TGIF, and welcome.
Double TGIF when you're talking about a long weekend, right?
That's right. And, every year on these holiday weekends or weeks, you just never know what day something's going to fall on. And, of course, the 4th of July falls on Monday this year, which gives everybody a little bit of a long weekend. So hope that you have some fun plans out there. And if you don't, how about some R&R? That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Hey, whatever.
I would take that.
Whatever makes you happy.
That's right. Do whatever.
If that's taking a trip, if that's eating out, if that's having a barbecue at home, if that's working more because maybe you get paid double time because it's whatever floats your boat. But
right.
Remember, we are living in the greatest country on earth.
We are.
I believe that.
I believe that too. And against all of the things that, people want to talk about, I think that we are very fortunate to live right here and to have the freedoms that we do, sort of. And, it is wonderful, and take time over the weekend maybe to think about that and appreciate the wonderful things that we do have here and the opportunities that we have.
Yeah, easy to take some of the good things for granted. It really is.
It is. But you're exactly right. So do whatever makes you happy. Whether you want to just sit on your butt and stare at the wall, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Or I think we're going to do a little bit of everything. We're going to do some work and probably maybe go have a swim day, maybe, and I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
But, yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I know what Pete Wilson's going to do. He's going to work. So.
Well, there's a lot of things.
Because that's what Pete Wilson does.
You're giving me the perfect segue. There is a lot going on.
There is.
A lot has been going on. We'll talk about that. We'll give a summary at least of the things going on this weekend because it is hard to keep track of. We've got things going on in multiple communities here in our local area of Jackson, Vinton County.
There's so much.
On different days. And truly, because of the way the holiday falls, it's all centered around July 4th. The days that they occur, before, after, during, they shift every year. We have to look them up, call people up, have them call us. And, we do have them all together, and we have them all listed. We've had them all listed on the paper, on the website, on Facebook.
And thank you for that.
Right. We'll go over that today, too. But once again, a lot of chances to have fun this weekend on organized community celebrations, regardless of what your private plans may be.
That's exactly right. And if you say that you're bored this weekend, I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Well, if you want to curl up and read a book, that's cool, too.
Yes.
Just find a cool place.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we will start off, though, before we get into the review of the 4th of July festivities, the leading news story. And this was a scary thing that certainly could have been a lot worse than what it was.
I saw that picture.
Right. And our man Shaver was on the scene. We certainly appreciate him
Jeremiah.
running
Look
up
running
up the Appalachian Highway almost all the way into Meigs County. This is in Vinton County, in Vinton Township, over Raccoon Creek. There's a bridge on that 4-lane highway there. It actually several crossings of Raccoon Creek, and this is one between Arbaugh Road and Eakin Mill Road. Wow. About maybe 2 or 3 miles from the State Route 160 intersection, more than halfway to Athens. But anyway, this huge 18-wheeler dump truck was heading westbound towards Jackson from Athens, if you can say it that way. And for whatever reason, it went off the left side, through the guardrail there, and down this pretty steep ravine, and the cab landed, we heard both, that it landed near the water, and the official report says that it landed in the water partially.
Oh my gosh.
So the driver was temporarily trapped or was not able to get out. He suffered serious injuries, ended up being taken by the MedFlight helicopter to Grant Medical Center in Columbus.
I don't know how anyone survived that, Pete.
Right. I mean, you look at the impact there, the degree of the incline there heading down. That's going to certainly rattle and roll you for sure. Just fortunate, there wasn't any other vehicles involved there that might have been in the path of that big truck. But the driver has been identified as Timothy Reese, age 66, of Cheshire, Ohio. That's in Gallia County. We don't have an explanation for how the crash occurred. I'm guessing that in addition to it being under investigation and the State Highway Patrol doing the investigation, they don't like to put out a lot of details till they figure it out. In this case, I'm guessing there maybe were no witnesses, no other vehicles were involved for sure. And, the man who knows about it, he's in the hospital. He may not be able to relate what exactly happened.
That's right.
Whatever,
he may not remember
whatever it might have been. So officially, it is under investigation. He is in Grant Medical Center with serious injuries. And we do have a full report now on telegramnews.com. That's our newspaper website. We're also sharing that to our Facebook. We have some photos there that Jeremiah has prepared. He did a video on his Jeremiah Shaver site that's also on our Telegram site. That's obviously got a lot of views, so you can take a look at that. That was his impressions and views of what he saw when he arrived at the scene not too long after it occurred. And the patrol did follow up that night with the official report, and of course we've got that covered as well. So that news report will be featured, of course, in our Saturday print edition of the newspaper, and any other information we may get before then.
Okay.
All right. So we will turn now to the 4th of July.
Just a few things going on.
Right. And the 4th of July, if you take into account the celebrations in Vinton County, we have two, in MacArthur and in Wilkesville, and then in Jackson County, where there are celebrations in Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill. The activities spread from as early as this evening all the way through until the late night hours on July the 4th. So lots of activities. And, there's not barriers between our towns. You can go to another celebration if they're doing and when they're doing it.
Go from one to the next to the next.
It's good for you.
Yes.
But it all starts tonight in MacArthur, where the Vinton County Athletic Boosters, that's a historical celebration that they've had. It's a community thing, but they also do it to raise money for their athletics. The big event tonight will be a parade in downtown MacArthur. It will take place at 6:30 p.m. They call it their Grand Parade. Cassandra Mayers, who was the outstanding young woman in Vinton County, she went on to become the outstanding young woman in the state in this statewide contest. She went to a national contest last week. She will be the Grand Marshal of the parade. Okay. Then tomorrow, the second and final day of the Vinton County Athletic Boosters celebration, on Saturday, there will be a Little Miss Vinton County contest in the afternoon at 2:00.
Jennifer knows all about the Vinton County Little Miss contest.
Oh, okay. Well, there's something that you guys know that I don't know.
Yeah, you just need to watch the program from.
I do need to do that
Wednesday.
Okay.
And then take a nap.
Should we sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer again? No reason.
Pete, there are no words.
Well, you can interview anybody. I know that.
This one might have taken the cake. They were cute, though.
My mom,
I will say they're adorable.
My mom said to give you a shout out for how well you handled that.
Tell your mom I love her so much. I was driving in here yesterday and I knew we had another interview and I was like, I don't physically think I can do this. I'm still exhausted.
Well, they worked you over.
Oh,
okay.
You have no idea, Pete. You have to turn it on. But anyway, they were great, though. They were cute.
Okay, well, that then says there should be some interest then in attending the Little Miss Vinton County contest. They're going to do it at Central Elementary this year because of some work taking place at the high school. That is where it normally has been. Yeah. Used to be outdoors years and years ago, but the variables of the weather sometimes being unfavorable, they decided to take it indoors. But so Central Elementary School in MacArthur at 2:00. I believe there's like 16 to 19 candidates, something like that. Okay. It's in the high teens. And then 7 p.m., the older girls for the Miss Vinton County contest at 7 p.m. And they always name the athletic boosters. They always name their athletes of the year who each win a big scholarship. It
that's
always
awesome.
comes out that night as
Yeah.
well. And of course, we know how we cap it all off with fireworks at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
That is the Vinton County Community Coalition that does the fundraising and does the fireworks. The athletic boosters do everything else. And of course, they work together. And keep in mind that the money that they make from charging admission for the contests, et cetera, the other ways that they may raise money during the 2-day thing, it helps to support the Vinton County athletics. That was the reason for doing it, in addition to just having a nice community celebration.
And don't forget that, that Saturday night, that's the only fireworks that are going on. So you have the opportunity to go there and then see, more as the weekend rolls around.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
And then the big day, if you had to pick out one big day for the 4th of July, it would be actually July the 3rd, because everything that's taking place in Jackson is on that day. The only exception, I should say, is the Freedom Fest run that the Chamber is doing. It's
just getting ready to mention
kind of a separate event. It is actually on Saturday at 9 o'clock. They'll start from Manpower Park.
Yeah, Manpower Park, July 2nd, 9 a.m. So show up. You can register online. And if you just go to the Jackson Chamber of Commerce website, I think there's a link there. But I know, what did Kelsey say? How many runners they already had? Like 60 some?
Yeah, they said they had a handful more than last year. I don't remember the number though.
And that was
I do know
beginning of the week.
I'll tell you this. She ordered more T-shirts this week.
Okay.
So yeah, so they must still have more people signing up.
That event has a little history. Randy Heath, for the many years he was a chamber, that was a kind of a pet project of his.
Yes.
He always had it on July 4th in the morning. Did a great job publicizing it, sent out letters to prospective runners, and there were times they were close to 200. And so we had the lapse there where one year I don't think we had it. Then there was the COVID. At least one year they didn't have it. And, the new leadership of the Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce and the new board, a lot of new members there after, the chamber was down kind of almost for a year, non-existent. They were doing a great job getting everything revived. And so I'm glad to see those numbers coming back up.
Yes, for sure.
That always makes me think of the funniest thing that happened on that Freedom Fest run. And a group from Nelsonville came over from a rehab place. It was where you get sentenced, and it's low security, but it's a kind of a halfway thing. It's not drugs, but it's a low level security, and it's not a standard jail. Well, a group came over from there, including 10 inmates, if that's the right word to use. Well, one of them took off the route and fled.
No.
I thought you were going to say he won.
That is a true story. Did not follow the route, took off there on Harding Avenue. They had to track him down later on. They never did get his time for the race. But my guess is he was probably as fast as anyone when he needed to be.
I'll bet he was.
Dude, that was an episode of Monk. Did you guys ever watch that show?
No.
So the guy's running in like a marathon, and they've got those tracker things.
Yeah.
So he takes his tracker off and puts it on the guy on the bike that's like going the route, and then he runs off and commits a crime, and then comes back and finishes the race.
That's funny.
But I do think that they caught the gentleman there. I think he may have had to go to another facility after that.
I was going to say, I mean, you had it pretty easy, dude. All you might have wanted to just stay there.
He might have just wanted to get off long enough to get a farmer sportsman fish or something.
I was going to say, or a bubble for Michaels or something,
But anyway,
I don't blame him for that.
Freedom did not last long on the 4th of July for that guy. But anyway, we digress. So Freedom Fest run on Saturday, but on Jackson on Saturday the 3rd, they'll have the parade at 8 o'clock. They'll have activities in Manpower Park, stuff for the kids that the Kiwanis do. They'll have music there, recorded music there, sound system and all like that. They'll have inflatables, and then they will have the fireworks at approximately 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And that's all being coordinated by the Jackson Firefighters Association. They're in charge of that with Dave Channel, once again, a great behind-the-scenes guy, and in front of the scenes guy doing a lot of work there once again in what will be his 50th year as a Jackson firefighter. So we'll have to celebrate that sometime.
Yes.
But at the same time in Wellston, activities will begin late in the afternoon, and they will go all the way through the evening. It will end with fireworks at 9:45. This is the Main Street, the Wellston Main Street group that does this. They're going to have several activities in there, but they will also have a parade that will They'll have a parade that will take place at 7 p.m. They call it the Hometown Parade. Line up at 6 p.m. starting at the old Pants Factory. But other events they're having an apple pie baking contest. They will also have vendors down in Pride Park. And they will also have a patriotic sidewalk art contest and maybe a few more things. But those are some of the things that will take place during the day. In Oak Hill, there's activities 3 days, starting on Saturday and continuing through Monday, July 4th. Their fireworks will be on Monday, July 4th at 10 o'clock. But before that, there's going to be live entertainment from the stage there at the old high school lot where all the activities have always been. They're off what street is that comes up through there? Off Western Avenue and I don't even know the street
baseball
name.
field.
Yeah, we'll say the baseball field and the old football field. There we go. Everybody
field.
in Oak Hill knows where that is. But anyway, of course, the boosters will do their food booth there featuring their famous fish sandwiches.
Yep.
But there's going to be, during the 3 days, there's going to be a golf cart contest. There's going to be a car show. We said there was going to be live entertainment leading up to the fireworks. And then, the parade that they're going to have is on Saturday night. And it will take place, the parade will take place on Sunday evening. Lineup will be at 5 p.m. and the parade will take off at 5:30 p.m. at the old high school bus lot. It will go through town. There will be a gospel sing with different performances starting at 6:30, and that will go deep into the evening. And then on July the 4th, they'll have the golf cart parade in the afternoon. There will also be entertainment from the stage that evening, and then it will all end with the fireworks display at 10 o'clock. And on all the fireworks display, the radio will be there. They will find a way to stretch themselves, and they will be broadcasting live, and they will have the synchronized music.
Super cool.
The music that goes, the patriotic music, or whatever they choose, that goes with when the fireworks are going up. So, you can watch the fireworks and listen to Stars and Stripes or whatever they choose to play. And then in
Are you going to sing Oklahoma for it?
That's not a patriotic song.
I think it's very
if
patriotic.
You live in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Jen, speaking of fireworks.
He could sing the anthem to the
peacocks, the fighting peacocks, or
no,
it's the parakeets.
It's the parakeets.
My God, the peacocks, okay. It's the parakeets.
Peacocks are a little meaner. Anyway, go ahead, James.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday, the day before, and we didn't know. We were talking about when does Athens County have their fireworks?
Yeah.
So I looked that up. The City of Athens fireworks are July 4th, and they shoot them off from East State Street and that field back behind Walmart there, I guess.
Oh,
So,
I would have thought they would have done
yeah.
like the fairgrounds or something.
Yeah,
but
so that's probably why I never saw them, because I would have never dreamt of going to Walmart on the 4th of July.
Yeah, I would have thought that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in Nelsonville, they call it Thunder in the Valley, which is a really cool name. And they shoot them off at Hocking College, and both of those events are on the 4th.
Okay.
So now we know.
There's, almost every community has something going on. But in Oak Hill, I give Tammy McCain a lot of credit for what goes on in Oak Hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's the athletic boosters, but there's always, a person or a small group that seems to really be the pushers. And they've got a co-ed slow pitch softball tournament, a pretty baby contest, and a family fun day all set on Saturday. That's the first day. And then, of course, the big thing is the car show and the parade on Sunday, and then all the gospel music in the evening. And then on Monday in Oak Hill, there'll be the cornhole tournament. In the afternoon, the golf cart parade at 5 o'clock, and then more music in the evening leading up to, of course, the fireworks at 10 o'clock. And once again, it has gotten to the point now where even though the Oak Hill Athletic Boosters has always done this, just kind of as they do in Vinton County as a community thing, but they raise money through the athletic kids in the schools because, the school budgets just don't stretch that far.
Right.
And the big thing the big thing is that the fireworks, which everybody looks forward to, are so expensive that some of the money has to go to pay for the fireworks,
Sure.
of course. So please thank all these people that organize these things
That's
and
exactly
sponsor these
right.
things. It just doesn't happen. There isn't any big government grant that makes it happen. The small communities make it happen. And speaking of a very small community, Wilkesville will have its annual 4th of July parade, and it is on the actual 4th of July, and it will take place at noon there at Wilkesville, and it is one of the best hometown 4th of July parades you will ever find.
That's awesome.
They do a lot of they have prizes for on the decorations there, and so that once again is on Monday, July the 4th. All right, some other news to report. Big news out of Chillicothe, out of Washington, but big implications for Chillicothe in our area. The Chillicothe VA Medical Center is going to remain open.
Yes.
We don't have to worry about that for the next year or two, the lobbying, because the way it was set up, this commission called the ARI Commission out of the Department of Veterans Affairs, and everybody goes by the short version, the VA, that's who we're talking about. They wanted to improve the overall system. And one of the recommendations was to close the one in Chillicothe.
Let's improve it by screwing over all the citizens of Southern Ohio.
There is a view of the Chillicothe VA Medical Center. You know, if you're not a veteran, you've never been there, it is a big, impressive facility. That is the main building just north of Chillicothe there on State Route 104. And I tell you what, Jennifer, Jackson County is home to 2,101 veterans. And the VA spent a total of over $34 million in 2021 in Jackson County, and of that total, $13 million plus was spent at the VA for medical care. In Vinton County, $7 million was spent for medical care. So. No, I was wrong. In Jackson County, it was $19 million for medical costs alone. In Vinton County, $7 million plus for medical costs alone. Now, the big deal was, if you remember when we talked about this before, if there isn't a VA medical center, a big facility, a hospital, if you will, in Chillicothe, you're going to have to travel to a hospital much farther. You're going to travel to Columbus, you're going to travel to Dayton, you're going to travel to Cincinnati. And, you know, some of the veterans, you know, may not want to make that drive. And that is where they get, you know, their benefits, their health care benefits.
Sure.
They were going to replace it with outpatient clinics in Chillicothe and in Circleville. And otherwise, though, if you needed the more specialized services or the acute care services, you were going to have to make that long drive.
So they changed their mind, huh, Pete?
Well, what happened was, this was funny. It wasn't a lobbying effort where they convinced the Congress and convince the president, which that's what they were going to do in the next year or two, say, change your plans here. The thing that made it a long shot was the way it was written up. It was an all or nothing deal. You either have to start back with everything. You just can't pull out one thing and change it. So that's why the odds weren't really very good, because you're talking about one thing with a whole bunch of things in it, all right? So what they did was, I don't know who thought of this, but we'll have to give main credit to United States Senator Sherrod Brown, because he was the one who was most active to try to save the Chillicothe VA, and he's on the Veterans Affairs Committee in the Senate as well, longest serving member. But what they did was, it was a bipartisan thing. Rob Portman, the Republican senator from Ohio, was in on this too. What they did was they dissolved the commission. So now there's no recommendations. I mean, it was almost as simple as that. There is no commission. There is no recommendation, so they don't have to decide to approve or disapprove the recommendation.
Smart.
That's what they did. They pulled the plug.
Outside the box thinking. Love that.
They pulled the plug. So that story will be in our Saturday paper in great detail. We also got quotes from the veteran service officers in both Jackson County and Vinton County. Another good news story to report comes out of Columbus. We had a lot of government officials from 32 counties in Appalachia go up to the governor's house on what day was that? Tuesday. The reason was the governor, Mike DeWine, announced a $500 million investment in Appalachia that's coming, and it's going to be called Ohio Builds Small Communities Impact. And what it is $500 million that is tailored to improving life in Appalachia. And it's going to be, no money has been awarded yet, but you've got to believe that a lot of our local officials are thinking what they can apply for and how they might be able to use this money. It is to plan things, and it's also going to be to implement things.
Yes.
So it could be a lot. 32 counties, a lot. Jackson and Vinton counties obviously included. Our commissioners from both Jackson County and Vinton County were up there with the governor, and there were some other local officials there as
Love
well.
that.
And you can see some of them right there. Right in the middle of that picture is Governor Mike DeWine and his wife, Fran, the pie baker. And also there in the picture, you see Jackson Mayor Randy Evans. You see Governor's Office of Appalachia Director John Kerry. He's from Wellston. You see Wellston Mayor Charlie Hudson there on the far left. Then on the other side of the DeWines, you have Commissioner John Hensler, Jackson County Commissioner Paul Haller, Jackson County Commissioner Donnie Willis, and there on the far right is Brent Stepp, who is the regional representative for Lieutenant Governor John Houston.
That's
and
right.
she is from Jackson.
Yes.
And there is Brent Stepp right
Yes,
there.
she's lovely.
We're going to talk about her because she's in the news for another reason
Oh,
here
right.
in just a minute. But this $500 million investment in Appalachia, it will help in infrastructure, including downtown development. It will help in healthcare. It's supposed to make investments in school and community-based services and to address physical and behavioral health, and also, of course, workforce development, including public-private partnerships to build and coordinate job training. So this is a lot of money that the state is committing to our area, 32 counties of Appalachia. And it was pointed out in one of the news articles that I saw, that the state is putting more money into Appalachia in Ohio than what even the feds are through the Appalachian Regional Commission.
Thank you,
And that's the
thank
federal
you.
government. They got more money than anybody, as
Yeah.
we know.
If not, they print it.
All right. Okay. Now that was an uncalled for remark, but so apropos. All right. Okay. So another good news
You were
story.
thinking it. I just said it.
Yeah. I know. That's what I love about you. Another good story coming out of Jackson County is that the careers, longtime elections director and deputy elections director in Jackson County have come to an end.
Yeah.
At the end of this month, which was yesterday, June 30th, Cheryl Browning, the deputy director of the Jackson County Board of Elections, and Joanne Evans, the director of the Jackson County Board of Elections, both had their last day of work. And there they are together. These are the two full-time staffers in the elections board. So this is a big deal that they're stepping down. It's also a big deal because they have been doing it a while. Cheryl Browning Warner, I forgot to leave off her new last name because she just got married within the last year, has worked 16 and a half years in the elections office. And Joanne Evans has worked 15 years in the local elections office. And here they are with a certificate, two commendations that they each got from the Ohio Secretary of State's office, and they are standing here with the local boards of elections people. And you need to know who these people are. You have Elaine Speakman, who on the left, who is the new Democrat member of the Board of Elections. You have Kathy Smalley, who is a Republican member of the Board of Elections. You have Joanne Evans, of course, one of the retirees. You have Cheryl Browning Warner, the other retiree. By the way, Cheryl Browning Warner is the Democrat appointee, and Joanne Evans is the Republican appointee. Remember, everything is bipartisan. We have one of each. We have two board members each, Democrat, Republican, and of course, the staff members have to be one Republican, one Democrat. And then to the right of Cheryl Browning Warner, you have board members Kaida Nua, Republican. You have the state deputy director of regional operations of Southern Ohio Regional Liaison. That's a mouthful, but that's her title, Lori Baldridge. And the other Board of Elections member, a Democrat, and he happens to be the board chairman, Rodney Smith. So congratulations to both Cheryl and to Joanne for their long careers.
Yes.
Starting today in charge over there is Margaret Casey. She is the new director. She's the Republican appointee.
Okay.
And the new Democrat appointee, who will be the deputy director, is Marcia Beatty. In Saturday's paper, we're going to have a story. Jeremiah Shaver was over there, got a piece of cake, I think. When they had their big retirement thing on Monday, big retirement party on Monday. That was a surprise. They didn't know it was coming. But anyway, they shared some stories, how things have changed over the years,
I'll bet.
a lot in the last 15 years or so. And so we'll have that article also in Saturday's edition of the Telegram. All right. There's been a lot of construction going on in Jackson, if you noticed.
Holy moly,
And
has there ever?
The main thing that people have probably noticed is all the paving that is taking place. This week will complete the second full week of paving from the city's income tax funded summer paving program. This is paving work that I took a picture of earlier this week on Gay Street. There was a lot of work on the south side of town. They did Gay Street, they did Briarwood, they did Gay Place, they did Missouri Avenue. So they did a lot of paving, and they're going to do a lot of paving next week too. What is so funny?
I'm laughing at James.
Okay, what's he doing over there?
He gets the giggles, and he makes me giggle. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's no reason at all.
Well, anyway, there's going to be more paving next week. And so this is important to know because especially if you live on the streets, you need to get your vehicles off the street.
Yes, please do. Yeah, unless you want a big old, asphalt roller thing going over top of your car.
Right. And now they won't be paving on the 4th of July because they celebrate too.
Yes.
But the crews from G&J Paving will be out there on Tuesday. And this is the streets they're scheduled to work on next week. No particular order, but if the weather's good and the asphalt holds out, they will be out on Harris Street, Cherry Street, Elm Street, the part of Main Street from Bridge Street to West Main Place, and Payne Street. Those are the streets. They kind of scattered all over next week. And the summer paving will continue until all the streets scheduled this year are completed. They have allocated $1.2 million for paving this year. And Mayor Randy Evans figures that it will take more than 5 years to do it. And about the time he's done, it's time to start all over again. And make no mistake about it. Some people I know aren't happy about taxes, but there would be no paving if there was no city income tax.
Right.
And that is the way it is. And that income tax was passed about 54% to 46% in 2020. And, Mayor Evans spearheaded that effort there. And so this is some of the fruits of the income tax, as well as some infrastructure projects that are being funded. They're getting a lot of grant money for that, but some of the city money will be used to leverage that outside money to do some infrastructure projects, water lines, sewer lines. You'll see a lot of that work taking place. And
police, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
That's helpful.
Half of the money goes for the police department. And the police department, by the way, is getting built back up. A new police officer started just the week before last. They are one slot away from being their full complement of officers.
Awesome.
And this is still fewer officers than in past years because they felt like there were too many of them. And so now I think when they hire the new officer, that will be 12. Right now they've got 11, and that includes Police Chief Brett Hinch. But once again, that would be impossible as well without the income tax. So you decide, whether it's worth it. I kind of think it is myself. All right. Okay. Speaking of taxes, the county commissioners met earlier this week, and of course, engineer Melissa Miller had been present at 2 public hearings about enacting a piggyback license tax for Jackson County. There is already a piggyback license tax that's in effect in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, smaller ones. There isn't one for Colton, and there isn't one for unincorporated areas of the county. As a result of the commissioner's action, they approved 4 different versions of this, what is called officially a permissive tax, and they passed them all. And that means that everybody in Jackson County will be paying $20 now when you get your license.
Drat.
Now,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm cool with having paying $20.
You're already paying some of that if you're in Wellston, Jackson, or Oak Hill, and now it will go up. It won't go up by $20 if you're already paying some in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, but the total will now be $20. And if you didn't pay anything, which you didn't if you're in an incorporated area of the county, now you'll be paying an extra $20 when you get your license tax.
Hey, if I can get my road paved because of that, I'm all for it.
Well, this is how they put it. If you figure it out on a monthly basis, it's what you would pay for a bottle of ski. Buy a bottle of ski or help pave a road. Is it okay? So it's just $20 for the whole year. That's the whole thing. So Anyway, it will allow Engineer Miller to pave more roads than what she did before. It's not going to get them all or anything like
Right.
that, because there's a lot of roads in Jackson County, but they will be able to do at least 10 miles of roadway each year, as opposed to anywhere from the 6 to 8 that they've been able to do on their own with the money that they have. So very good money,
Cool.
if you're out there driving on some of those roads out in the county that need paving. Now, this is for the county roads, not the township roads, and not the city roads or the village roads. All right. Kind of an interesting story came out of Wellston, out of the land bank meeting that was held after the commissioners meeting. This was on Tuesday. And there is an old building in Wellston on South Pennsylvania Avenue that most recently was known as OJ's. Big J's. Yes, Big J's. There it is. There's a line of buildings on South Pennsylvania Avenue. They look almost like the buildings are connected, but the only one involved here in this story is the one on the north side, or on the left as you're looking from South Pennsylvania Avenue. It's Big J's. Big J's building was in line to be demolished. The city had applied for money through the land bank to demolish.
Okay.
This is money that comes from the High Department of Development. It hadn't arrived yet, but supposedly there's enough money for the entities in Jackson County to do certain demolition projects. Wellston had wanted to do this one. So it's been approved for demolition. They're still waiting the money, so the building's still sitting there. The Lou V is another building that's supposed to be demolished too. Well, anyway, a gentleman approaches the city on this. His name is Richard Harris Jr. He's from Wellston.
Okay.
And he asked the city not to tear it down. He would like to have that building and convert it into a restaurant.
Okay.
All right. So here is the interesting deal that they came up. Mayor Charlie Hudson doesn't want an old building around, but he's certainly not against a new business and a better building.
Sure.
There. So here's the deal they made. They gifted the property. The land bank and the city, which one or both, is going to gift the property to Richard Harris Jr. It's his now. But what he has to do is he has to put the money that would cost to demolish the building in escrow. If he is unable to fix this building up for a restaurant or whatever,
Okay.
he's going to have to pay to demolish it himself later on.
Gotcha.
So it's going to come down or it's going to get fixed up either way.
Okay.
So that's the status for the Big J's building in Wellston. All right. A lady who has worked in a very important job that a lot of people don't know about has retired, and that is Jackson area resident Nina Keller. Nina was the executive director of the Area Aging on Agency District 7, and there is Nina. She has had that job for a couple of years. Before she was the interim director, and before that she was the assistant director. A very important agency that allocates and manages federal money for senior citizen programs, not only at the senior citizen centers, but for senior citizens in general in a 10-county area. And Nina has retired. Her last day was yesterday, June the 30th. And we want to congratulate her. We know her fairly well. She is the wife of Steve Keller, who, of course, was the longtime Telegram owner, publisher, editor before he retired. And so congratulations to Nina Keller retiring as the executive director of the Area Agency on Aging District 7. That's a mouthful.
Say all that fun
That
stuff.
office is, by the way, is down at Rio Grande, but they serve 10 counties, including both Jackson and Vinton. All right, the Wellston Police Department had a drug bust that it started out as a traffic stop. How many times do we hear this story?
A lot.
But they made a nighttime stop, 12:43 a.m., an early morning stop, technically, I guess, on Monday, June the 27th on Jeff Montgomery Way, there by the ball fields there. And it was through an equipment defect, fairly minor stop. But officers, when they made a contact with the female driver and 4 adult female passengers, when they did a sniff of the vehicle with the dog from Jackson, it alerted, indicating the presence of drugs. And there certainly was. One male from Columbus was discovered to have 54 suspected alloprolol pills.
What?
alprazolam pills
What is
on
that?
his. That's a pill that gets abused quite often. It's an opioid.
Oh,
That's all I know.
okay.
I've seen many police reports. He also had $1,283 in cash on him.
Okay.
Another adult male from Jackson had a digital scales, 16 grams of suspected methamphetamine, and approximately 16 grams of suspected fentanyl hidden in the front of his pants. All these items were seized and sent to Ohio BCI to be tested to make sure that's what they really are, but they think there are. Pending those test results, those people who had possession of the drugs will likely be charged. They could be trafficking charges because of the large amount of the drugs.
Okay.
And once again, I know we get cold to it because we hear so much about it. This fentanyl stuff is scary.
It is scary.
I mean, it is just not at the border and in the big cities. It's in our small towns too.
Yes, very much so.
And people are carrying it. They're probably selling it. And it is potentially very dangerous because people mix it with other drugs. And, too much of it will kill you in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah.
How did you say it, Pete? Alprazolam?
Yes.
That's Xanax.
That's the same
okay.
as Xanax. Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway, it is a Schedule 4 controlled substance. So anyway, kudos to the Wellston Police Department. But one of the reasons I brought this up was to just say this happens too much. And, we need the police out there doing their work, and we need to do something to stop the trafficking of these drugs. And the fentanyl in particular is very, very dangerous.
Did you all hear about the horrific situation there in Kentucky where the officers were trying, it was like yesterday, I believe, to deliver a warrant,
Mm-hmm.
and guy took off and shot, I think 8 officers, killed 2, believe a police dog was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Just a horrible situation, and they can't figure out. They were just trying to give a warrant, why this dude acted that way. And what a sad situation there in Kentucky. So you can look that up too.
Right. And that small town in
Just
Kentucky
unbelievable.
could be the small town here in
Yeah,
Jackson County
absolutely.
or Vinton County. And I'm telling you, I remember having an interview with Sheriff Frazier. It couldn't have been much more than 3 or 4 years ago. And I was asking about fentanyl because it had been reported in Ross County and in Pike County. And this was a really big deal that, it was just somewhere in one instance.
Right.
And he said he didn't know that it was in Jackson County. He didn't believe it was. But he put out a warning then. We don't want fentanyl in Jackson County, but we're even telling you drug users here, you could die using this stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't in Jackson County then, but let me tell you, it's in Jackson County now, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go back to Bren Stepp now.
Okay.
Bren has got a very important job besides the one she has for John Husted. There she is. Bren is the new chairman of the Jackson County Republican Party's Central Committee. That is a position that Prosecutor Justin Lovett had for some time. Justin has stepped down from that position. He had a change of residence, and that made him ineligible, at least for right now, to continue in that role. And Bren Stepp, who had been the vice chairman, was appointed as the chairman. Donnie Willis, Jackson County Commissioner, who has been the executive committee chairman, he will continue in that role.
Okay.
The Republican Party had a reorganizational meeting on earlier this summer, and that is when these 2 positions were determined. But those are the leadership positions in the Jackson County Republican Party, so congratulations to both of them. Also want to tell you, you've heard about, possible food shortages on the tube and all like that.
Yes.
Well, the Southeast Ohio Food Bank, which is based in Logan, but they do weekly food distribution in Logan that a lot of people go to. It's a huge one. They also support the food pantries in our local counties, including Jackson and Vinton. They are forced to scale back services because of what they termed a severe food shortage. Oh. So I don't know whether this is going to hit the grocery stores or not, but to the places where, the food is the most important, where people are actually hungry or they have food insecurity or they worry about having enough money to get food, there is now not enough food at those places, at the food banks, and it's going to spread out to the food pantries now because of this. But the weekly on-site distribution, which is in Logan, will end after it ended, the last time was last Tuesday, June the 27th. The weekly Friday mobile markets that they have throughout the area, they will be suspended starting Friday, July the 8th.
Uh-oh.
So this will also affect the local food pantries as well. We don't know how long this will go on.
Man.
But they serve a total of 70 food pantries in 10 counties. And once again, they do serve Jackson and Vinton counties. We'll have to check with our local food pantries to see how they are, how much they are hurt by this. All right. We also want to tell you, because we got Red Thompson here to visit with us here shortly. We want to salute the DM Davis Choirs.
Mm-hmm.
They had their big concert last Sunday. I went. It was called the America Sings Concert. And we want to make a special mention of Joyce McClurg, our friend, the Oak Hill Festival of Flags president. Here she is getting a bouquet from Rick Knoll, one of the choir directors. And the reason is because she was the pianist at short notice for the DM Davis Choir. Stevie Jarvis, who's been the pianist forever, she's considered, to be a member of the choir herself, had an injury, could not play.
Yes.
They thought they were going to have to either postpone or even cancel this concert, which of course is timed to the 4th of July. And in stepped Joyce McClurg. I think Rick asked her, Rick knows her.
Yes.
They worked together with the Oak Hill Band and so forth. And Joyce was able to step in and was glad to do it. She is a wonderful,
She's a great lady.
Great community person. And she did a great job playing because I was there. I heard. All right. Do not forget, local governmental offices will be closed on July the 4th. That is the Monday holiday.
Yeah. Don't think you're going to go to the bank on Monday. It's probably not going to happen.
Right. Exactly. Looking ahead, the Apple Festival Quilt Show. Remember, that's been a long time part of the festival.
Yes.
No quilt show this year.
I heard that.
They had it at the Lutheran Church this year. They moved it around. It was at the library for a number of years.
Yeah.
They moved it to the Lutheran Church last year. And from what I can understand, just from what was posted on social media, it's just a matter of the few volunteers that have to put this thing together. A lot of people enjoyed the quilt show.
Yes.
They had a lot of entries, but just a few people were doing all the work. And they didn't say they'd never have it again, but not this year.
Yep, not going to happen.
So no Apple Festival Quilt Show this year. We also want to tell you that our friends at the Atomic Credit Union, who do so many things in the community, they've got local banks in Jackson, Vinton counties, and other counties as well. They have started their annual school supply drive. It officially starts today. You can help by donating items at any of their local locations. That includes Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill. During the month of July, you can drop off donated school supplies at any of those branch locations. At the beginning of August, the school supplies will be delivered to the schools. You can give number 2 pencils, pens, scissors, glue sticks, tissues, hand sanitizer, Clorox wipes, pencil cases, and pouches, binders, crayons, colored pencils, markers, mechanical pencils, pencil sharpeners, erasers, rulers, folders, loose leaf paper, wide-ruled, and college-ruled notebooks. Did you get all that? They need all those things. And Atomic Credit Union is marshaling that effort.
That's wonderful. School supplies are very, very expensive. It's only going to be worse this year. And thanks to anybody that helps out with that.
Right. And we want to tell you about a couple of events. We'll do it next week when we're talking about the news. And a couple of special events are set for the next weekend after all this 4th of July stuff. Excuse me. There'll be a Christmas in July benefit at the Manpower Park. The Apple City Motorcycle Club and Jaffe will go together to raise money for Christmas gifts for needy families. And then the Christmas in July event will take place at Lake Alma State Park. And that will be the Friends of Lake Alma doing that, and they'll have all sorts of things, a cute kids contest. They'll have entertainment out there. Santa Claus, the Wellston American Legion Santa Claus will be there as well. And once again, this is for a good cause. This is to once again raise money for kids at Christmas. So we'll tell you about those things. We'll tell you about those things next week. Red Thompson Jr. is here. He's going to talk about some things going on in Vinton County. Nobody better than him. He really goes about it hard.
He does.
I don't have to tell him to do anything. He has initiative. And so we love that. We love that.
That's right. Come on over, Red. Thanks, Pete. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Of working, I'm sure.
It'll be fun.
Because that's what Pete does.
Fun stuff.
Let's go over your weekend weather forecast while Red's coming on over. And today, believe it or not, is July 1st. Can you believe it? About a 50-50 chance of some showers in our viewing area today, and that will be a high of 89 and lows around 70. For Saturday, looks about the same, 50-50 chance of rain, highs of 87, lows getting down a little bit lower, down into 66 degrees. Then Sunday is going to be, and Monday, going to be absolutely gorgeous with some sunshine, highs on Sunday of 86, and Monday back up into the 90s, but looking very summer-like for the next few days. So should be pretty good. So what's going on, Red?
Well, we got some interesting stuff from Vinton County today.
Okay.
And for the first time since, listen to this, Jennifer, 1860.
A few years ago.
Civil War era, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office is going to be moving.
Wow.
We caught up with the Sheriff on Cain yesterday, and we interviewed him. James has it up, and we can. Do you want to watch it now, James? Go and play it.
If that's what you want to do, Red.
Okay, we'll hear an interview with Sheriff Von Cain about the new sheriff's office that's in progress in Vinton County. Okay, we're here with Vinton County Sheriff Von Cain. And Sheriff, it's been a long process, but the anticipated move is underway. The truck showed up, and kind of tell us where you are and how exciting it's going to be for the Vinton County Sheriff's Office to have a new office.
Well, it's extremely exciting considering the first time in the history of the county that we're going to be able to move up here to a new facility that actually will accommodate, the 20 plus employees that we have. Numbers are changing every day, but there's enough room. We got desks, we got new lighting fixtures. I mean, we're changing some things. This building was built in 91, so we are updating some of the dated items that they do have. We're putting desks together. We've moved filing cabinets. We're moving storage files so far, the ones that we can move. We're dealing with other issues though because we have mold on the old building, so there's some items that we will not be bringing up here because it's contaminated. But it's pretty exciting. I mean, we're really a lot of work to be done though. Every service, like I said, the economy right now, I think they're still trying to make up for the country shut down for 2 years. So trying to get internet, phone lines, AC services, pretty much all servicemen they're backed up, and it's taking longer than we want, but we're getting there.
Okay, Sheriff, what do you hope, what about a lot of questions that's been asked about the 911 board and the communications and all that? How's that coming?
It's going great, actually. As you can see behind you, they're in there now, evaluating a new dispatch area. There is, hiccups. This is inevitable whenever we do upgrade or plan to move. I mean, we couldn't be in that building for eternity. So all these problems we will be facing, for the first time in Vinton County's history, but it's been done before. So we're taking it from, somebody who's already done it before, and there's some hiccups, but they're getting it done. It's really exciting though, because we're going to consolidate and actually be more in compliance with state guidelines than we are previously, and it should be able to better serve the citizens.
And finally, in the future, you got a lot. This is really going to increase your space, and obviously it's going to be a lot more modern, like you said. How do you hope it will help the citizens? Obviously, the parking's going to be better and that kind of thing.
We even have parking. I know anybody that's ever visited our courthouse, the parking is a nightmare. We'll actually have our own parking, and we are rather busy, probably have more traffic in and out than the courthouse, so this will accommodate that nicely. But also, this is a great foundation for a jail. Our county has been in dire need of jail space. Law enforcement's pointless if we can't do our jobs and enforce the laws. And as much as citations they go for those minor crimes, but sadly with the drug epidemic, we're seeing way worse crimes than misdemeanors. So being able to have a really good foundation right now being established is very promising for the future.
And would you like to have an open house?
Oh yeah, we plan on having an open house. Hopefully, really, I don't know how many times we've had expectations destroyed of being in here. I mean, it's almost been 2 years since I believe these discussions started. But I do believe, yes, this year by September, we'll probably have an open house and actually be operating out of here.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Very good. Good job, Red.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff, for talking with us too.
I think it's important that people realize that, you got to have a modern sheriff's office in these times with all the different types of crimes. And that building was wonderful. It's like a lot of older buildings. It's time's run out.
Mm-hmm.
And for a modern agency like law enforcement, you've got to have.
It has to be safe. It has to be secure. A whole lot of things.
And that's going to help with parking in the downtown MacArthur. For a small town, MacArthur just has horrible parking problems.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving. The bank is moving across the street for most of their operations. So there should be some more parking freed up down there.
Red, let me ask you, maybe you answered this question. What will become of the current sheriff's office?
Well, unfortunately, it's probably going to have to be torn down.
Is it that bad?
Yes. It's just. I know some people wanted to make it a museum because it was the first female sheriff in the state of Ohio served there.
Really?
Yeah, 1925, Maud Collins. There's a marker.
You're kidding.
No, it's a very historic building, but I don't think it can be saved.
Oh,
I think
that's so sad.
Unless there's an engineer out there that can really jack it up. And I guess anything's possible if you wanted to spend enough money. But
Right.
yes, I don't think there's enough money unless there's someone just is philanthropic and just wants to throw money into it.
Yes.
But it's it's just not the kind of place anymore that's fit for a modern law enforcement agency, and there's no parking there. This will be nice for the public. There'll be a big parking lot, central air. They got central air in the where they're at now, but because of the condition of the building, it's almost
not very efficient, I'd say.
No.
Yeah.
And it'll be, we're talking about law enforcement, emergency. We're talking about, the law enforcement people. It's just not a good situation there. But it's been a great service to the county throughout the years. It's been the base of law enforcement operations. But, it's like the schools or anything else, they got to be replaced once in a while. And this is where we're at. So, like the sheriff said, this is the first time since Vinton County's become a county that they moved the sheriff's office.
Wow.
Maybe
a few years ago.
A long time.
Yep.
So it's been a good run. Other things in MacArthur this summer. They're doing a big roofing project at the school administration building, the old high school.
Okay.
And there it is. And the gym there is still used a lot. That was the home of the Vikings from 1967 to 2000. And then they moved out on Route 50 and been there ever since. But that gym is used constantly, other than by the Vikings, the kids. Every once in a while, even hold practices there. Or if something goes on in the gym, it's just used constantly. The schools have some kind of a plan. I think they're going to renovate a lot of that building. Superintendent Rick Brooks is supposed to have a release on that soon of exactly what they're going to do. But it's going to be very nice. But you can see that that's a big project going on right now. Other things in MacArthur that we mentioned previously, the bank is going to be built soon.
For sure.
They're going to be tearing down McCloy's restaurant. They're going to be construction at the Brickyard in the south end of MacArthur. The hotel is also under renovation. And a lot of times in Vinton County, the summer was just slow. I just have to dig up almost anything. But this year, that's not the case. There's stuff going on all over town. The Goodwill is about to open. It's just a beautiful building. They've got the lot paved now. And
that thing's huge.
Yeah. Isn't that just a pretty building?
It is.
Yeah, it's all, but I think they're stocking it. They're getting ready to. And it's in the fastest growing area of town, up there on the west side of town. So it's just one of those boom times in MacArthur. A lot's changing up there, and it's just there's a lot of good happenings, a lot of business activity, and hopefully, as we've discussed, we can start to see what moving the Hocking Hills tourism south could do for us.
Sure.
And now they're talking about, as has been mentioned, moving it to Jackson. Maybe we can get a regional tourism track, and we can all make some money together. So,
love that.
Good happenings going on this summer in Vinton County and beyond.
I love that, Red, and thank you so much. And thanks for always being up and being our Vinton County correspondent. You do a fantastic job.
Well, I appreciate that. And I wanted to mention one more thing before we get out.
Sure.
Pete mentioned the Wilkesville Parade. That is amazing. I mean, after Connie White, Constance, she likes to be called Constance instead of Connie. But they do an amazing job. It's kind of a historical parade. It's one that you would like to see a long time ago. They got old fire engines, a lot of church wagons, horses. You just find people dress up like Uncle Sam, Betsy Ross.
Yeah.
And, it was even a favorite of Channel 3. They used to come.
Yeah.
It's a small community, but for the 4th of July, they really show their patriotism. The parade it runs all the way up the hill to the fire department, but through the little town, and it's a lot of people's out there watching it. You wouldn't think that a town that small could do it, but they really.
Oh, they do for sure.
So if you ever get to see it, it's really it's a country classic, you might say. It's really a nice event, and hats off to them. They do a nice job. Monday at 11. Be there if you can.
Okay. Sounds good.
I have an announcement to make.
You do?
Yeah, I'm going to throw out a free plug for my yard sale.
Okay, go for it, James.
204 Vaughn Street yard sale going on right now and tomorrow.
Right up the high school hill.
Right
at the bottom of the high school
over
hill.
by Jackson High School.
Yeah, you can't miss it.
Yep. Got all kinds of good
all of
stuff.
those throw rugs in there?
Yeah,
James?
I was trying to get Rodney to do a live radio remote from the yard sale.
I love it. Well, tell us a little bit about what all do you have there.
We got T-shirts for $0.25. We got old shoes for $1. We got throw rugs. We got old CDs, the cringy bands from the early 2000s that nobody wants to listen to anymore.
All of that stuff.
Yeah, lots of dog stuff. All kinds of good things.
Cool. All right.
So
James
stop by if you're a yard sailor.
Stop by and have.
Yep. I think there's going to be a lot of yard sales going on this weekend. So
probably. Yep.
If that's what you're into, check it out.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Celebrate however you like, but just be safe. And we would like to see you back here on Tuesday. So we won't be here on Monday as we're going to take a little bit of time off as well. And so we'll be ready to roll back here on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful weekend, Red.
Thank you.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th. Bye, everyone.